steal that.
My phone is well down.
I said hello!
Get back in the car. Get back in the car, Trish.
Hi guys and welcome to this new video. Well, my guest in this opportunity, Gina Felix of Jeepers 1. Gina, welcome to your bow tie.
Yeah, I mean, both sides of that, both things you've mentioned have happened. So, yes, I ended up doing a lot of
Yes.
horror. I love horror because I love the horror fans. They're loyal. They're also really creative, really smart. I don't know if you've been to like a horror convention and the costume and the questions they ask me about the films. I mean, that I don't even know the answers to. I am like,
Oh my
I never
God.
thought about that, but they're just the best. But I did do a film or two, to be honest, for money. I liked an actor in one and was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And they ended up not being great experiences. So after that, and one was a really bad experience, where I
Okay.
just said, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to take a film with, you know, with that where I don't love the role, I don't love the director, I don't love the other people just for as much as I need to pay my mortgage. I tried to not do that again. In terms of not being hired for things, yeah, people after a while I was doing so many dramatic roles and I kept getting hired to do kind of very emotional roles and raw roles. And so people wouldn't see me for comedies. And I really would have loved to have done more comedy. And that's something that, yeah, I got taken out of that box.
Tell me about your relationship with your movie partner Justin Long. You moment in your actress career. So what about all of that? Because your relationship is really amazing. It's fantasy. You know, Down was the first movie that you make. You after Jeepers Creepers 1, you make an other movies. So, what you can tell me about that job that worked for you? The other movie after Jeepers Creepers. So, what you can say we all of that with your strong job in that moment, because you receive a word for that. So, what you can say about?
Yeah. So I didn't know the director or
Yeah.
Justin well, but when we went down, we shot this in Central Florida, like an hour out of Ocala, a little area called Lady Lake for the most part. And we had 2 weeks of rehearsals, which doesn't happen very much. Um, and it was really just Justin and I because they wanted to keep us away from
Yes.
Jonathan Breck, who was playing the film. So we had 2 weeks of like acting exercises, rehearsals, improving. In fact, the end of the movie came out of some improving we did, and then we written. from our improvs, and Justin and I really got close quickly. We became really close friends. In fact, when I met him, he came into audition. I had been cast already, and there were three boys, and who were all really lovely
Yeah.
actors. But when he came in, he and I just had this like that brother sister thing. He walked in, and I'm like, "Oh, where have you been? I feel like I've known you my whole life, and I want to punch you, and I want to hug you." And
Yeah,
so
that
we
was.
had that brother sister thing right away, and we really bonded for those first 2 weeks. When we started the first day of filming, um, the film was almost all nights. The first 2 weeks we did the days. It was very hot in Florida. I think it was September in Central Florida. So I just remember it being like we were sweating in a car. We were doing those day scenes in the car. And we had a blast together. It was a lot of laughing. It wasn't dark yet. It wasn't creepy. It wasn't anything yet. It was a nice entry into it.
That was a big emotion in that moment because I still remember your gray screen on Jeepers Creepers. Dari, you that was amazing. Well, after all of that, what do you?
So I wasn't in the second. Was there was a script. I was told I liked what I saw, and then they changed what they wanted to do and did something else. So then I was out. Um, and for the third one, what happened is there was a fourth script written, and it is all my character
Okay.
and Ray Wise. It was me and Ray Wise, and they needed to set it up at the end of the third. So I'm really just a cameo. Loved that fourth script. It's called Cathedral. It didn't get made. But that is why I came back to do the third and do that cameo, was to set up the movie that didn't happen.
Well, it's fantasy, when you make a movie, it's really fantastic. And your partners, why, it's a family, right? It's a great family. So, Victor Salva, what you can tell me about?
There were a few. One was I really wanted to be on a David Kelly show. So when I got Ally McBeal, excited. And in fact, I almost didn't go in for that audition. I wanted to be on the show, and I read the script they sent me, and it said tall, leggy blonde. Ugh, I'm not going to have my heart broken. No, they're never hiring me. And luckily, I had worked with a director who was doing that episode on another show,
Oh,
and he
wow.
called me and was like, "No, David doesn't work that way. Like, come in. He casts who he likes. It doesn't matter that it says tall, leggy blonde." Yeah, thank goodness he called me. So that was a moment for me. I was so excited to be on that show. And one of my dearest friends was on the show already, so that was another fun thing. And I didn't even tell her I got the job. I just showed up. She thought I was visiting her. She didn't know what I was doing in the makeup trailer. So that was, and then another kind of milestone was after it was the opening night of Jeepers, and I went to see it at
Oh,
Universal, and I went to sneak in the back with some friends, and I couldn't handle it. So I left after like 15 in front. And all of a sudden I hear all these people coming and asking for their money back. And I was like, oh my God, like it's gotta be so horrible if people ask for people don't ask for their money back from a film. Well, it turns out the sound went out on one of the theaters. Freaking out, and then my friend turned to me, she said, turn around and look, and I looked up, and they were playing it at Universal. It was like every half hour. It was in like 3 theaters, and it was sold out the whole night. And
oh
I
my
remember
God.
just like, oh, okay, this is not a disaster. And that was a moment where I like kind of took it in. And then the next morning a friend woke me up and said, how does it feel to be in the #1 movie? And I was like, what are you talking about? Wait, what? So there's little wins along the way. You work hard for years, and you just do your job, and once in a while there are little wins like that, and they feel really good.
Well, Gina, after Jeepers Creepers was your first horror movie? Was your first, or you make other movies, or what you can say about that? because after Jeepers Creepers, you or the movie. So what you can tell me about that? Is
I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I have watched it before. I don't love watching myself so long that I look back and can now appreciate and go, oh, actually, I didn't suck. That kind of worked, and I just have such fond memories. Again, I think Justin and I just had such a bonding few months, and we learned so much on that film, and we were so isolated, kind of together. So, but yeah, no, I have friends that keep asking me to watch it with them. I moved out of LA, so I'm living in Santa Barbara now, and some friends that are like, "Will you watch it with?"
the last question? U.S. model, okay? U.S. model, an actress, and sport woman. You know. Well, this is my. It's a personal question because you may get love a relationship love with your partners in your last movie like an actress like a professional. So what you can say about all what you can say, okay? All what you can say. I know this is a personal question. So what you can say about that, because you are a great woman. So what you can say, and what do you think about that? What really you think about it? Because I know in the movie you had to work every.
And people are very vocal. And I have to say, I can't remember a negative fan experience. Everyone is just like, it's pretty great. I mean, when people come up and they appreciate something you did so long ago, or, I just met a family where they told me that it was the last film they watched with their it was their
Yes.
grandmother before she passed, and it's now become like a tradition, and they watch it every month, and they watch it with their kids. And when you hear things like that, you're like, oh wow, we were just like making it. It becomes not about the movie, but kind of like this experience for some people. We all have those movies that mean something else to us. It's almost not about the movie. It's a time. For me, it's like John Hughes movies. They just bring me back. And it's just, yeah, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine, Gina. And really, really, thank you so much for this opportunity. For me, it's a dream making real. That I you to be here. You know why I never in my that I'm gonna make an interview to one actress on my favorite movie. So thank you so much for to be here with me, and it's a great pleasure. It's nice to meet you. Really nice to meet you, Gina. This is a special moment for me, and
In this moment, I am back just being a parent in life, subdued into life. However, I had such a nice experience working that I'm absolutely open to doing something. I'd love to do a few things a year.
okay, Gina. It's a great pleasure and nice to meet you. Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.